Hello, good morning, cross patchers. How are you on this fine, chilly January morning? I'm dropping in between doing the sampler quilt demos, and we're going to talk about making the easy shopper bag. This is the latest version using a Three Sisters panel, as I call it. I cut it to panel size, 24 inches by 40, and that will make the whole of the outside of the bag, and you can fussy cut where you want the fabrics to go on your bag. There's also in the pattern, it will tell you how to make this version, which was the tilde version, using the crossroads template, but you don't have to have the template. It tells you how to cut it in the pattern. And this was the original version, which is the French general version. So there's going to be kits of everything available on the website. The Three Sisters one will be ready at the weekend. I'm currently cutting it, and I'm going to show you how to make it now. So let's just put this down behind me, and then when I've finished showing you how to make it, I'll show you another bag that I've just finished making, which is a separate pattern, but you use the same method, there's just slightly different measurements. Okay, so I'm going to turn you down to the table and I'm going to show you how to make it. So what you will need is 2 panels of 15.5 inches by 12.5 inches. If you're making the crossroads version, that's just using 3.5 inch blocks. So you can just use your favourite blocks, make up a load of 3.5 inch blocks to do the front of your bag. So whatever will make up to the 12.5 by the 15.5. Now I've put, that's my Three Sisters fabric, and I've ironed it, some iron-on wadding, some H640, and what I do is I draw a crosshatch on the back and I quilt it from the back. So you've got to know that the tension on your machine is nice, the front and the back. Otherwise, draw it on the front with one of those heat erasable pens, or your machine, some of your machines will come with a little long metal thing that will measure out. You just draw one line and then you follow the line with the little metal trim that you put on the back of your foot. But I hate using that because I always go wibbly wobbly. Okay, so do that with both panels first. Once you've done that, you're going to want to add your gusset. So your gusset, I cut it in 3 bits because when you add it, you want those corner bits to sit nicely in the corner. So if you just use one long bit of fabric, it doesn't sit nicely when the bag's finished. Okay, so that's why I do it that way. So your gusset pieces on this bag are 3.5 inches wide. So obviously by the sides of the bag, which is 12.5 inches, and then the bottom of the bag, which is 15.5. So join them together, and then you want to stitch them onto your bag panels. So I line up the bottom bit first, find the middle of this panel, find the middle of your bag, and then work outwards. So stitch all the way along the bottom. When you get to the end, stop about 1/4 inch from the end, fold your panel round, and then carry on up the other side. Okay, and then you'll have a nice fitted panel around your gusset, and then just do the same with the other side. Now when you're making your lining, it's exactly the same measurements, exactly the same method. Okay, right, so this would be my lining. So you're making exactly the same thing in your lining, but you're leaving a hole either in the bottom or in the side because you're going to need that for turning. So when you've finished making your bag and you've made the lining, you're just going to put the bag inside of this. So you leave this inside out, you put the bag inside of this, and you top stitch all around. So your bag will be the right sides out, your lining is inside out. You put your bag in here and you top stitch around the top, and then you turn out right sides out through there. Okay, let's get the finished bag back so you can see it. So if you want to add lace on the top, you're going to need to top stitch your lining in place in the bag. So when you put the lining, tuck the lining back into the bag, you need to slip stitch the gap in the lining closed and top stitch all around. Now if you're going to add some lace, you can do this at the same time. So I've just top stitched that all the way around the top of my bag. Okay, and then you're going to need to make some bag handles. So your bag handles, you've cut off, in this case I've cut off from what was left of the panel, and your bag handles are simply pieces which are 5 inches by however long you want your bag handle. So I usually do them 20 inches, you can make them longer if you want, and you fuse some wadding to one side and fold them in half right sides together, stitch all round, and you're leaving a little gap there for turning. Turn it right sides out, fold it in half and find 3 inches from either end, and then just top stitch along. So as you're top stitching, you will excuse the croaky throat, you'll include that bit in your top stitching, so that'll cover it up. Okay, you can slip stitch it together first if you want, but I never do. Okay, so that will give you a nice bag handle that will sit on the front of your bag like so. Now if you want to make the zipper to go on your bag, I've used 20-inch zips. There is a separate demo on doing how to make the zipper. This is how I do it. It's the easy way of doing it. How to make your zipper unit. There's a separate demo. All it is you cut 2.5-inch strips of fabric and make them into binding. So you fold them in half twice, and these bits encase the zip. Okay, so you top stitch them on, and then you want some zipper tabs on the end. So all the zipper tabs are a piece of fabric 3.5 by 2.5, and you wrap it around the back of your zip and you stitch across there, and then you cut off this horrible knobbly metal bit, because if your sewing machine needle hits that, it goes kaput. Okay, so you will cut that off, you just pull that up, and then you fold it twice and top stitch it like so. That will make your zipper unit, and all you do with your zipper unit is top stitch it. Use 1/8 of an inch seam, you just top stitch it to the top of your bag. Okay, on this bag you want to start stitching where the gusset meets the front of the bag panel, so you leave that bit loose. Okay, so that's how I do the zips. So that's it. So it's a really quick and easy bag to make. I made 2 yesterday because obviously I needed one for the demo and one to show you here. I made them yesterday morning. Okay, so that's that for that. So coming next, I shall be uploading another video for 2 more blocks on the sampler quilt, which you can see behind me over by there. So we are doing the heart block that's in the middle next, and the star block that's just below it. If you're making the smaller version, you can make it into the bag, which is here. So instead of making a quilt, we've made a bag, and the borders of the quilt become the gusset, and then I've put a big pocket on the back with some Velcro on the top, so I can put a big square cutting mat in there and a ruler and whatever, and then I've got a nice big bag to take to class with me. Okay, so what's coming next? Let me think, what am I making next? Heart quilt. So I cut a load of mini charm packs, so you're going to need 2 of these. So if you remember the stitchery hearts that I've made 8 stitchery hearts, and there's going to be a block in the middle of the quilt, and I've cut a load of very pretty fabrics, Dutch Heritage and French General. These are going to go around my quilt, so that's next on the to-do list after I finish making all the kits up for all these bags. So thank you for watching and bearing with me as usual. I appreciate your support a lot, thank you. And if you're watching on Sunday, I'll see you Sunday. We're doing the 3 Amigos live Sunday morning, so I'll be live on my Facebook page at 9:30, and then it'll be uploaded here about an hour later. Andy and Abby obviously are joining in, Crafty UK and Abby and Patchwork. So lots of fun on Sunday again, so hope to see you then. Thanks, bye.